Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to map out, totally dismantle, and figure out exactly how to teach the incredibly complex engine of human language. If you're a language nerd, or, if you just want to know how your everyday speech actually operates under the hood, this is going to be a really fun ride. We are taking some pretty abstract linguistic theories and turning them into something highly visual and literally immediately practical.
To kick things off, I've got a question for you that might just challenge your whole perception of what a language is versus a dialect is. We almost always think of them as having these strict, drawn-on-a-map borders, kind of like countries, right? But as you'll see today, those borders are way, way fuzzier than you might think.
Here is our intellectual roadmap for today. We'll start with the language map and the illusion of boundaries. Then we're going to dive into the engine of time and advanced grammar mechanics, before wrapping the whole thing up with the science of learning.
All right, Section 1, the language map, surveying the dialect continuum. Let's start with the macro view and see how dialects actually spread out across geography.
So look at this concept of a dialect continuum. It's essentially a geographic spread where neighboring speakers can understand each other perfectly. Linguists call this mutual intelligibility. But speakers at the extreme opposite ends of that map, they absolutely cannot. Think about it. If you travel village by village from point A to point B, the changes in the local speech are so gradual you'd barely even notice them. It totally proves that mutual intelligibility is a fading gradient, not some hard, fast line in the sand.
Moving right along to Section 2, the illusion of boundaries, the South Slavic example. Let's look at how this continuum plays out in real life.
Okay, looking at the South Slavic language continuum, you can vividly see how grammatical traits just sort of shift. It's fascinating. From the analytical East to the more conservative West, the changes are incredibly gradual. In the Eastern dialects, like Bulgarian and Macedonian, they've almost completely lost their noun cases and infinitives. Instead, they've developed these definite article suffixes. So you add ta to kniga and you get kniga ta for the book. But as you move westward across the map, those original noun cases and infinitives are still fully retained. It's like watching grammar evolve geographically.
Section 3, the engine of time, tense versus aspect. Now that we've located language on a physical map, let's zoom all the way in and dismantle the micromechanics of how languages actually process time. We all tend to conflate tense and aspect in everyday conversation, but mechanically, they do completely different jobs. Think of it like this. Tense is literally just a drop pin on a timeline. It tells you when something happens, past, present, or future. But grammatical aspect, that describes how the time actually flows inside that event. Is it completed? Is it an ongoing process? Is it a habit? So if tense is the location on the map, aspect is the actual engine driving the car.
Section 4, advanced grammar mechanics, building the internal time engine. Let's see how different languages actually build this internal machinery.
In Slavic languages, this time engine was built right into the vocabulary itself, which, if you've ever tried to learn Russian, you know is enough to make you pull your hair out. Verbs are inherently paired by aspect. Take Russian, for example. The verb pisat is imperfective, right? It focuses on the ongoing, flowing nature of writing. But you add one simple prefix, na, making it napisat, and boom, it becomes perfective. Suddenly, the action is viewed by the speaker as a strictly bounded, completed unit of time.
I absolutely love this academic definition from our sources, internal temporal constituency. It sounds dense, but it proves such a vital point. Grammar isn't just arbitrary rules you memorize for a test. It's a completely different way of conceiving reality. Aspect literally dictates how you mentally structure a situation from the inside out. And the crazy thing is, this immense diversity of aspect exists everywhere, even within English itself. Just look at this comparison. Standard English uses the progressive aspect, like I am eating, to describe an action happening right this second. But African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, features a highly specific habitual aspect. Saying I be eating, or the emphatic I do be eating, specifically denotes an action that happens regularly. AAV utilizes these brilliant habitual markers that Standard English actually completely lacks a dedicated auxiliary for. Which brings us to Section 5, the science of learning, from theory to the classroom. How do we take these super deep mechanical theories about dialects and time and actually teach them to real language learners? Well, to translate all this complex theory into practice, we have to look at higher education.
And Spanish universities are actually leading the charge right now in training researchers to transfer applied linguistics directly into modern, tech-driven classrooms. You've got the Universitat de Barcelona offering a master's that focuses heavily on bilingualism and empirical research. Meanwhile, the UOC offers a master's in teaching languages via technology, which is specifically integrating artificial intelligence and advanced online feedback into the mix. The UOC syllabus lays out the modern educator's journey perfectly. Step 1, you have to analyze the cognitive acquisition theories. Step 2, you design tech-based tasks based on those needs. And step 3, you apply AI to completely innovate your teaching practices. It's all about making abstract linguistics a functional, tech-driven reality for students. When these advanced theories are applied to European adults, for instance, we get these highly structured syllabi, like Anya Academy's C1 course. They basically take advanced syntax and break it down into perfectly digestible modules. You can see how they isolate very specific mechanical challenges. Module 01 tackles emphatic inversion. Module 03 handles models of deduction. And Module 9 dives right into complex verb patterns, like the subtle difference between stopping to think versus stopping thinking. Let's actually zoom in on Module 08 as a prime example. The focus here is entirely on mastering complex subordination and advanced relative clauses. By using target sentences like, "my colleague who left last year," educators are actively training adult learners to master non-defining relative clauses and incredibly formal pronouns, the tricky ones like whom, whose, and whereby. This right here is applied linguistics at its absolute best. It's packaging complex mechanics so adults can immediately sound more precise and more professional in their everyday lives. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought. The very next time you speak, take a second to think about the hidden map of dialects you belong to and that invisible engine of time driving your every single word. How does the grammar you use every day literally construct the reality you see? Thanks so much for exploring the mechanics of language with me today, and hey, keep asking questions.